Hello lovely viewers and welcome to Adaptation, the ultimate vlog for film adaptations and the original material they're based on. For those of you who don't know me yet, where have you been? You're missing out. But seriously, I'm Jennifer Dick, and in case you haven't noticed from the shadows around me, I'm night vlogging tonight. This is what happens in the winter in Ireland. But don't worry, I may be vlogging at night, but I won't be like those crazy Tumblr night vloggers with their random comments. What if cheese curds squeak when you eat them because they're calling out for mice to save them? What? Okay, maybe I'm a bit more like a Tumblr night blogger than I thought. But then again, this week we are doing something a little bit different for our vlog. As some of you may be aware, the month of November was very important in the literary circles. Why, you may ask? Because November was National Novel Writing Month, aka NaNoWriMo, a challenge to write or start writing a novel by completing 50,000 words in the course of 30 days. Yay! Basically, November becomes a writer's boot camp for those people insane enough to volunteer. Or I should say, those of us insane enough. That's right, this year I took up the challenge. 50,000 words, 1 month. But I did it! Yay! Now, I wasn't the only one in the adaptation team to participate. Nicole also took up the challenge. Yay! But seeing how she is a writer and she has done NaNoWriMo before, the thought was that my perspective as a first-timer might be valuable in recruiting more NaNoWriMoers? NaNoWrimers? NaNoWriters? To be honest, I have no idea what we're called. Besides insane, of course. But then again, aren't all writers a little bit insane? What if fish aren't actually supposed to live in water, but just drown at a much slower rate than we do? Clearly that's a yes. So starting off, my NaNoWriMo story is called Flight of the Five Swans, for the moment, and it is, surprise surprise, a rewritten fairy tale. For those of you who are adaptation newcomers, you have to understand, this is not surprising at all. Anyway, it's a sequel to a story that my sister Jessica wrote a couple years ago. Her story adapted the fairy tale The 12 Dancing Princesses, using 7 princesses instead of 12. Each one with their own unique personality. Very unique. If you're interested in reading the story, you can find a link in the description to its listing on fanfiction. Now, my sequel for NaNoWriMo uses the same characters in a new adventure that combines elements from not one, but 2 different fairy tales. Swan Lake and the 6 Swans. For more information on the original tale, see the links in the description. Or you can just go to Wikipedia, since that's where they'll lead you anyway. But I will leave it up to your imagination as to guessing how I incorporated these tales into my story. No arguments. I'm not spoiling the ending. Maybe that's because you don't have it written yet. Okay, yes, I admit the story's not finished. I completed the NaNoWriMo challenge by completing my 50,000 words, but as it turns out, the story that I have in mind is longer than that, so it's still in progress. As soon as it's complete, I'll likely put it on fanfiction.net as well, so stay tuned for that. Apart from actually starting the story that I've had in mind for a while, the whole NaNoWriMo challenge was a great experience in general, and one that I definitely recommend for anyone itching to write. And in case you're considering taking up the challenge next year, I do have 3 short pieces of advice that I learned from this year's NaNoWriMo. Number 1, start early. Now, I don't mean starting in July for the November challenge. It kind of defeats the purpose of the 30 days. What I do advise is to be ready to start writing your words on November 1st. That way you're not struggling to catch up on the daily words that you missed if you start late, like I did. I began November 4th, and I do not recommend starting from behind if you can help it. Tip number 2, keep writing. Now this may seem like a silly, obvious thing to say, but believe me, it's important. Writing for 30 days can be intense, and there will be days when you feel burned out. Keep writing. Your life may get busy all of a sudden. Keep writing. Just carry your laptop, your notebook, or a USB and jot down a couple words when and if you get a chance. You may hit a block at certain parts of your story. When that happens, skip the hard parts for the moment and, you guessed it, keep writing. It's repetitive. I know. I'm annoying. I know that too. But it works. And last but not least, get involved. Some of the fun of NaNoWriMo is knowing that there are scores of other people all around the world who've taken up the exact same challenge at the exact same time as you. This community, whether online or in your hometown, is a great source of camaraderie that sparks your inspiration when it dies. Plus, even having one person to bounce your ideas off can make all the difference. And I should know, I bugged Jess all through November to read my chapters. At this point, she probably knows my story better than I do. So that is the end of the advice that I've gleaned from my NaNoWriMo experience. I hope that you're intrigued, interested, perhaps inspired yourself to write. If any of the above, let us know in the comments. Don't forget, Adaptation can also be found on other social media sites. Links are in the description. And our podcast on iTunes may be worth a listen as well. So I hope you tune in next week for our regularly scheduled vlog, and until then, ponder this. If NaNoWriMo breeds insanity, and Tumblr night bloggers are inherently insane, does that mean that NaNoWriMo breeds Tumblr night bloggers?